Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another edition of the Between the Numbers podcast. Football is here. It's over. Week one's done. Upset in the first game. Well, at least for me, I thought it was with the Panthers going the Broncos in the Super Bowl rematch. Broncos come out with the win on that. Before we get into all the games, we're gonna talk about this week. Obviously the matches will happen, like so the surprises and what we expected. Our predictions, which I think Will may slightly have won this week. I'll give him like maybe, tough week. But then we've picked out a few games which we really want to talk about anyway in the first week. So and then obviously the news from this week, which I think is just RG3's injured. That's about it, as per
RG3 and
usual.
Sammy Watkins is injured as well, so
Sammy Watkins,
nothing
there
much
we
has changed there.
Yeah, there we go. And then yeah, I think that's and then we're gonna go for the predictions for next week, and hopefully I can bring my score up because I'm currently sub 500 right now. So that's my. I think if I get above, I need to get above 500. Yeah, definitely. I have a podcast. I really should be doing better at this. Anyway, Will, what did you think about the first week?
I really enjoyed it. It was a great weekend to open the NFL opening game, kickoff game, Panthers Broncos. It was awesome. All the Sunday games were awesome. Like even the Monday night games were cool to watch.
Definitely.
Like I haven't watched the highlights of the or anything of the Rams 49ers game, but
Oh, that game was
that looked
yeah.
like an
I watched
awesome
them
game.
today. So good.
But
Watching
just
them, it was
quickly
just like
the
unreal.
the prediction scores from last week. You went 6-10.
Woo!
Yeah.
Let's go team.
I went 11-5.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
yeah.
Just let-
Let-
just
let-
just like just like 5 games off there. That's fine.
yeah. I had a lucky streak. Like the Lions one, I was quite lucky with that. A lot of close games that I predicted, like Raiders Saints, that could have gone anyway. Lions, yeah,
Yeah, I
again
was kind
Lions
of glad of
Colts.
that.
Um,
Yeah,
and
Bengals Jets. That game came down to the wire as well. A
yeah,
lot of games came down to the wire, really.
I also got lucky. I changed my pick at last minute. I went for the Eagles.
Did I pick the Browns?
You picked the Browns. I picked the Browns as well
No,
originally, but then
fuck
I
no.
changed at last minute and picked the
Oh,
Eagles. And
Carson
yeah,
Wentz. Yeah, well, Carson Wentz came out, rookie quarterback. There we go. That was a
yeah,
cool
he
thing.
came out and torched the worst defense in the NFL. So
Yeah,
he
although
can he
yeah,
can
people.
he can tick that box.
Yeah, well, obviously, a couple people saying that the Browns' defense isn't actually that bad. I mean, but at the same time, they just get destroyed every week. I think it's just the offense is terrible, so they get put on. Actually, Terrell Pryor, he had a really good game. He'd made some really good catches with the ex quarterback turned into wide receiver for the Browns. I think there was some pretty good highlights from him. I have to say,
Yeah,
which
there
it's
was
quite good to see.
a lot of good moments. There were some good moments in the Browns. They still looked like the Browns and they kind of stink. But they had some good moments. There was some few they're kind of really trying to go for this vertical passing attack with RG3, but they couldn't quite get it going. But shame for them that RG3. I don't know if it's inevitably he is injured. He's got a shoulder injury. It's on his non-throwing shoulder. They've put him on IR, and so it means that they're going to put him on ice for at least a month, and then see how he goes after a month. Um, yeah, I mean, did we expect this?
I don't know. I think this came out of the blue, really.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't expect it at all.
I mean, it's kind of weird that he spends the entire last season on the bench. He didn't take a single snap in the regular season. He looked all right in the preseason, and then he goes into the regular season, immediately gets injured. Um, I don't think it doesn't kind of help him in any way. But there was definitely some good stuff from RG3 that I saw. But should
Hmm.
we talk about the games that we want to talk about, the good games?
All right. Well, yeah. Well, we're gonna go through the game. So I've got the Panthers game. Um. Obviously, yeah. Well, I mean, 21-20 loss. Dealt by the Denver Broncos again after Super Bowl. Lost again. I think it was just. I don't know. Kelvin Benjamin was back for the Panthers, so it was really good. Obviously having him, he got our receiving touchdown. So that's always good to see. It's good to see him back. Like another a huge target there. Hopefully, him and Greg Olsen going to split most of the targets really. But I mean, very surprised by Trevor Simeon. I was obviously even though he threw like two interceptions, that solid game. I mean, we could be
He
like
didn't.
picking them apart if say if the Panthers won with that field goal at the end that we missed. The two interceptions, we could have been like that was kind of the game right there. But
Yeah.
yeah, they kind of ran a fair bit. They ran a fair bit, and I thought our front.
CJ Anderson had a really good game.
Yeah. 20 attempts for 92 yards and a touchdown. Yeah, I expect our run defense to be a little bit better. Obviously, there was like the loads of issues with the refs not making calls, but then that happens in like every week. But at the same time, there was like obvious helmet to helmet clash on the final drive on Cam Newton. I can't remember who it was, but
Yeah, Keep Delete got away with quite a. He was called on a helmet hit on Cam Newton in the. I think it was in the third or the fourth quarter. He was called on it, but because Cam was also penalised for intentional grounding on the same play, the penalty's offset, and so the Broncos essentially got away with a pretty dangerous hit on Cam Newton.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I mean, I really expected us to win this one and like win it comfortably because obviously they don't have a quarterback. But I mean,
it looked that way in the
defense.
first half. It really looked
Yeah,
that way. You were pretty much in control of the game.
Yeah, we were 17-7 up in the second quarter.
Yeah.
And then in the fourth quarter, they just came out like two touchdowns, and we could only reply with 3 points in the fourth quarter. So, I mean, we definitely had it in the driving seat. I'm pretty disappointed to see that. I remember waking up the next day and just being like, I can't actually believe that happened.
Yeah, it's definitely a heart wrench. I think also the issue as well in the second half that the reason that you couldn't score points was just the exact same reason that from the Super Bowl was that Cam was just taking an absolute beating from the Broncos defensive line. I mean, he was hit quite a few times. He got sacked, but the difference was that he didn't lose the ball in contact. He didn't get. I think there was one moment where Von Miller tried to strip sack him, but he couldn't. So Cam protected the ball really well, and he looked a lot more physical and a lot more able to take hits in that game. That after
Yeah, I
he got
think he
all
was
that,
expecting that. Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
But I mean,
and he
I think it was
he
just
took a lot.
like,
He took
yeah, go on.
he took a lot. He took a lot of stick from after the Super Bowl for not being like physical enough and not putting his body on the line enough. But I think he did himself a lot of favors in that game. He looked like he was prepped to like take anything, and he even put a block in the first quarter.
Yeah, no, I saw that block. It was pretty like beast as well. Like running the read option there, and then well, I mean making the block, but I don't know. I've just, annoying, but like it could be. It's one of those games where it's like they are the Super Bowl champions, but at the same time, it's not the same team. They've had a lot of people leaving, but I mean maybe this means that I shouldn't really. I wrote the Broncos off beforehand.
I think I wrote the Broncos off. I didn't even have them go into the playoffs, and now I think everyone's kind of viewing it differently now.
Neither did I. But then see how that always. I mean, like there's three of the AFC West won their first game. So I mean, obviously one of them was playing. I mean, obviously the Chargers and Chiefs are playing each other, but yeah, I mean, it was just a missed field goal. That's all it was. If that was the only thing that was the issue, and if he'd kicked it, then no one would really be talking about it that much as it got. But it just happened to be the first game, and just.
I think one of the things with the Broncos that I think there's still an issue for them that could really still hinder them is the quarterback. That everyone's kind of raving on Trevor Siemian now because he won the game, which is good for him, and he did do a lot of good stuff. He threw under pressure really well, but he was kind of helped by your secondary. He looked kind of inexperienced. But
I thought our secondary quite well. Like the guys coming in for Josh Norman. I mean, I think they did a pretty good job. I mean, like, Bradbury definitely had a very decent game. I was pretty okay with it.
Yeah, there were good moments, but I think that there was definitely like. I mean, obviously they were going up against the trees, but I mean, Trevor Siemian he turned the ball over 3 times, was it? I think
it was 2 interceptions, but
two interceptions. Yeah. Was there a fumble as well? I think there was a fumble. So let's say he turned it 2 or 3 times. Because he won the game, that's going down as just kind of like rookie inexperience. He'll iron out those mistakes over the season. If he had lost that game, those would have gone down as like, oh, he's not ready. He's drowning under the pressure.
And that's why that's what I was getting at for like just that missed field goal. That was the only thing which it's kind of maybe blown out of proportion. Like, I'm totally fine with the loss. Obviously, I'd really like to get our revenge. I mean, I thought this was I expect us to be winning it by way more than clearly we didn't win, but I expect us to be winning it by a fair bit.
Yeah. All right, should we move on to Sunday and the clash of the one storied franchise, other less storied franchise,
Yeah, definitely.
Jacksonville Jaguars against the Green Bay Packers. I was before when we were doing our previous show, I was kind of saying that the Jags, they really had to like come out. They didn't have to win this game, but they had to come out and make a statement. And I think for the Jags, this was kind of an ideal result that they went close. They hung around till the fourth quarter. The Packers kind of won it with a play in the last minute, and it was a close game. So on the surface, people are going, all right, cool. The Jags have definitely arrived. They're challenging the big teams. They look all right. Because if they had won, everyone would be talking about the Jags and there'd be pressure on them. And if they lost, everyone would be on their back saying, well, you spent all that money for nothing. But I don't think it's as good as it's being made out to be, because they barely got any pressure on Aaron Rodgers in terms of a pass rush. He had so much time to throw in the pocket. That Packers offense still looks a bit rusty. Jordy Nelson he looked all right, but he didn't look back to his best yet. And Aaron Rodgers was still like having to take a lot of time to find receivers to get open. And he was helped by the Jags just couldn't get anywhere near him. So there's definitely still a lot of room for improvement for the Jags. I thought that their offense, it wasn't as explosive as we saw it last season, but it's the first time that we've actually seen the offense like keep them in a game and like take them around, like actually like be solid. Like usually you just see it in like garbage time and they just throw the ball like mentally and just score loads of touchdowns. But Blake Bortles, like they were pretty like standard Blake Bortles stats. He got 320 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception. And I think that they were definitely hurt by the fact that Chris Ivory at last minute missed the game through injury. I think he was taken to hospital. There's not much known about what really happened there. But so I think they were definitely hoping to have like a 1-2 punch with TJ Yeldon and Chris Ivory.
Definitely.
It looked, but you know what? It's good for the Jags. They went up close against one of the top teams in the NFC, a team that's probably definitely going to be challenging for the Super Bowl. So there's a lot of positives that the Jags can take from this. I wasn't too impressed by Dante Fowler. I thought Miles Jack looked really good in run defense. He made a lot of good tackles. But definitely room for improvement for the Jags, but they're going in the right direction, and they got over the first hurdle after having such a like hyped up off season.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that this game was actually like, yeah, as you said, for the Jags, it was kind of a. I haven't expected the Packers to do so well this year. The Jags, I was like, let's show everyone we can do here. We can score against. They can obviously score against a pretty good, a decent defense, like a championship style one. But yeah, I think it was just not getting after the quarterback would definitely hurt them a lot, because there was so many highlights in the, basically so many times when any receiver would be like wide open after like coverage of like secondary, like the play's on for too long because like they're not getting to the quarterback. And like obviously with players like Jordy Nelson at the back there with one of the touchdowns, like he like ran his route, and then obviously Aaron Rodgers still has the ball, so he's been covered up. So obviously you're expecting, as the secondary, like your front guys to make the sack, or at least get there, put pressure on him. But it allows them, give them time. And offensive line for the Packers obviously did really well here. Giving them
they did a good job. They did a job considering they gave up a bunch of sacks last year, and Aaron Rodgers was kind of seeing ghosts for most of the season. So I thought they definitely stepped it up. But I thought there was Jordy Nelson. He didn't hit the ground as running as hard as Kelvin Benjamin did after both of these receivers missing last season. I thought Kelvin Benjamin looked the better of the two. Jordy Nelson I think he still needs a couple more weeks to really get back into his groove.
But I'd really like the kind of like 1-2 punch the Jags have on the outside with like Allen Robinson, Allen Hurns, and then obviously they've got
Julius Thomas.
Julius Thomas. So they got pretty well with that. I thought Eddie Lacy had an alright game. I mean, he came back looking pretty trim, so
he was running between the tackles really well and doing pretty well. I was impressed with him.
I think that was really missing from the Packers last year, really, because they're heavily reliant on the pass game, definitely, like last season. But it seems they've moved on a little bit, which is good for the Packers. Well, not good for anyone else in the NFC or the rest of the team. And plus, like the Packers have that stupidly easy schedule, but.
Yeah, because this happens if you don't win your division because you're in a really hard division, and then next
Yeah.
season you just get a really easy schedule, which is
Uh-huh.
well,
Which is great for the Vikings, and they get Teddy Bridgewater back, and the Packers in the division this year. So
yeah, it's true. All right, which game are we doing next?
I should go on to actually my favorite game of the weekend. Happened on Saturday. It was the Raiders traveling to the Saints. I thought this was just like, well, if you want to watch like highlights, this is the game for it. It was literally like one team going up and scoring, and then in the fourth quarter it was just like one team going up and scoring, and the other one coming straight back and answering. I mean, obviously 35-34 here. Within this game, and it was really just like there was so many big play highlights. Like there was the one where what was it? For the Saints, Brandon Cooks like got it on the 89 like yard touchdown pass. I think it was just crazy. Like I remember it was the Oakland's punter was celebrating at how they like kept them back down in like the 1 yard line or something like that, and then or the 2 yard line. Having a really good punt and like really good special teams, and then Drew Brees to Brandon Cooks just runs 98 yards, and it's like, great, good punt, mate. We're just gonna go score a touchdown. But yeah, like I mean, Brandon Cooks had a good game. I mean, obviously Drew Brees, pretty good. 423 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. And I think what this game answered one of the kind of questions over the Oakland Raiders for me was that how is their rushing attack going to do? Obviously with Murray in the backfield there. I mean, obviously he had yards, but obviously this is not the best defense to go up against, really. But it seems that they're okay with leaning on the run game a little bit, the Raiders. But obviously Amari Cooper and David Carr looking like a pretty good. Like they're pretty good. Pretty good combination there, I think. But yeah, definitely for me, this is definitely my game of the weekend. I really enjoyed watching this. It was just like popping up on Red Zone every like 2 minutes, just being like another one scores and another one coming in. But yeah, I like this. Even though I picked the Saints, Raiders put up 22 points in the last quarter. So what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? It was like a typical Saints game where they haven't got a defense and they have one of the best quarterbacks in the league, so they just throw the ball as much as possible.
Yep.
I was kind of epitomized that Brandon Cooks had 143 receiving yards and Willie Snead had 172 receiving yards.
Mark Ingram, the highest rusher, had 58 rushing yards.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not that high really.
Yeah, ball just moving through the air the whole time. But it was good for the Raiders that their offense is looking pretty good. Obviously, like it's the Saints defense, so it's not the biggest test. But kind of worrying for me was how like average the Raiders defense looked, because that was kind of the thing that everyone was hyped on.
That's true.
With Khalil Mack and guys like Reggie Nelson, Malcolm Smith, Sean Smith, and all these, Bruce Urban as well, and like they made so much change on defense, and it was a defense that kind of looked really ordinary, and the offense that was winning the game for them. So I mean, I know it's week 1 and they went up against a pretty decent offense and a pretty good quarterback, but if the Raiders, well, I think the Raiders are a serious team. If they want to keep being a serious team, they got to definitely sort that defense out and start not conceding over 30 points a game or something. I mean,
it's true. Yeah, it's true. But I mean, like, as we've said, it's not every day that you come up against Drew Brees. So
yeah, Drew Brees, I think he's kind of in a mentality where they kind of go for it a lot more on offense than Saints, because they know they have to win games by scoring more points than the other team. So I think they play a kind of game where they go and score points. So it's difficult to play against as a defense.
Yeah, true. Right, do you want to move on to one of your games?
Yeah, I am going to move on to the Sunday night football game, because this was the game of the week for me. The New England Patriots, they walked into Arizona. Everybody had written them off. Tom Brady's out for 4 games. Who do they bring out? Jimmy Garoppolo, who has a really solid day. That's about it. He just had a really solid day.
What happened to Arizona? I just don't get it. Like,
they just it was that Patriots defense did so well at just kind of sucking up the Arizona pressure. Um, I said it in my write up before the game, saying that if the Patriots were going to win it, they needed this young defense to kind of come of age, and it really did. They were making some really good plays on defense. They got a few they got 3 sacks on Carson Palmer, and they really turned up the pressure on him. And the other advantage was that they didn't really ask Jimmy Garoppolo to do that much. They kind of just gave him like kind of simple passes. He had that one big play to Malcolm Mitchell, and another one to Chris Hogan.
oh,
So they
yeah,
weren't
he was so open in that play. That was
yeah,
such botched coverage. That
7-Eleven, man. He's always open.
was.
Uh, and so they did really well. And he had the advantage. He was throwing to guys like Julian Edelman and Chris Hogan and Danny Amendola, who their key is not to run down the field and get the biggest play. They play in the box, they play inside, they get 10-yard passes, but they get open, and I think that really helped Garoppolo. And it helped that LeGarrette Blount had a good game. He got 70 yards, 70 rushing yards, so he did really well. And Garoppolo as well, he looked really like, mature in the pocket. He wasn't making stupid plays. He wasn't going for double teams. He was throwing the ball away. And it was in effort, just a very like solid performance of it. It was kind of what I expected, what they would do with Garoppolo, but I didn't really expect that would be enough to beat the Cardinals, which apparently it was, which is pretty awesome. And now, like everyone's doing that whole thing that happens every time the Patriots do something good, but they're going like, well, why didn't we just believe that the Patriots could do it? I mean, they do it all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, they managed to win games with Matt Castle when Brady was injured a while back. So, but yeah, obviously there's going to be. I think there's like a group of people that are like already like starting up like fan sites and like fan groups to like get Jimmy Garoppolo to start.
No way.
That is 100% not happening. He can play as well as he wants, but he is not replacing the four-time Super Bowl winner, 3-time MVP. No, 2-time MVP, and
of course you know all these stats about him. Go on.
Yeah.
What I was really surprised about is like with this win as well for the Patriots is that Gronk wasn't even playing.
Yeah, Gronk, and they didn't use Martellus Bennett that much as well.
Yeah, I know. He only got like three receptions. It was just.
He got 5 targets.
What I thought was pretty good was when Chandler Jones got that fumble recovery, and I was like, oh, that's cute. That's cute. Well done.
He was obviously really happy about that, but then he lost the game. So.
Yeah, that's why I just. I mean, it's just one of those games where you expected the I expected the Cardinals to win, and like I expected them to win quite comfortably because obviously number one in like yards in the league last year, and then number two in like point scoring, but just going down and like no one raves about how the Patriots defense and say how good it is, but I mean, they shut down Carson Palmer a little bit, and David Johnson didn't. Well, David Johnson did well, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, David Johnson had a good game. He didn't have a stellar game.
Expecting like a lot more from Arizona, definitely.
Yeah. I think there could be some worry in Arizona at the moment because their offense looked kind of stale over the preseason. It looked not as like explosive as it did in 2015 against the Patriots on Sunday. So I mean, there could be a slight worry in Arizona that there may be like a lack of spark there at the moment. That's something they may have to sort out. But yeah, I mean, do you think? I'm not. I still don't think the Patriots are going to go 4-0 with Garoppolo. I think there's still going to be a loss in there somewhere.
I thought this was definitely a loss by either. I reckon with you. I just don't see it with Garoppolo as well. It's just I'm like, but Gronk's back, and then you beat Arizona, so obviously you're going into confidence, and you're playing at home. You're playing the Dolphins.
I expect. I think the game that will probably be most difficult at the moment is probably be the Texans game.
Yeah, the Texans had pretty decent game, although actually, if this would lead me on perfectly fine for the to talk about Miami Dolphins against Seattle Seahawks. What a close game this was. It was 10-12 to the Seahawks, but that their defense is Miami and Seattle both coming up big with their defense here, and I'm looking forward to seeing this matchup. Garoppolo against this front line, against the defensive front line for Miami, and also it just seems that the like all the plays that were made like this, like, it was one of the like worst highlights you could ever see out of a game because
Yeah.
it was just yeah, like all the highlights are just like defensive plays.
Yeah.
There's a couple like maybe they might have got a first down and like someone gets run stuffed or something, and it's a lot of punting in this game. But I thought, um, I thought for this game it was just like I knew the Seattle Heat Seahawks wouldn't be as prolific as they were, and they didn't really run the ball as well as they were hoping to. Neither did Miami. Foster with only getting 39 yards off 13 attempts. But I like their quarterback draw, the quarterback draw for Ryan Tannehill to get the touchdown. I really like that call. It was good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching that because it was just like Tannehill just goes right up the middle and then just takes this huge hit of one of the one of the linebackers and is like, yeah, whatever, that's cool.
Tannehill definitely
Um,
looked like I'm probably one of the biggest criticizers of Ryan Tannehill, but he did actually look quite good against the Seahawks. I didn't really ask much of him, and I
mm.
thought that suited him quite. But he wasn't helped as well that I think it was Kenny Stills had a horrific drop in the first half.
Yeah. Oh wow.
He dropped it right in front. He just had to catch it, and he was in for a touchdown,
Yeah,
and he
it was
drops
like
it.
daylight and there's nothing there. Jarvis Landry always is explosive as per usual there. I'm looking forward to seeing him play up against you guys next week for the
Yeah,
Pats. But I reckon for the Seahawks, it was just like they won it. They grinded out the victory. Their defense is obviously still pretty good as their defense everyone knows it to be. But this offense is a bit suspect. But to be fair, like Russell Wilson to Doug Baldwin, that's still going. That's still going really well. And that's just it seems to be one of the combinations which just works every time for the Seahawks. Because there was a couple big fourth downs where literally Russell Wilson play action, Doug Baldwin's there. But yeah, a little bit of worry for Seahawks, but the Dolphins' defense is good. So I think they grinded out a good win there.
yeah, they definitely ground out a good win. I think well, my two like big things that I took from the game was one, um, the Dolphins' defense is probably mainly maybe not as bad as we think it is. That they do have stars in there, and they were able to keep the Seahawks out pretty well. And also the Seahawks' offensive line is pretty bad.
Yeah,
They
that's
got
definitely a
absolutely like
case.
beaten up by the everyone. Like it kind of goes under the radar that they don't really have that good an offensive line, but they somehow just always get through it. Um, and I think that keeps being an issue. And man, the Seahawks they just always start slow as well. They went 0-3 last season.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just helps that Russell Wilson's their quarterback and his like elusiveness is just
Yeah,
crazy. But yeah, that front line for the offensive line isn't going to be fair enough. They are going to have a really good defensive line for the Dolphins from Miami, but they're going to need to sort out the offensive line if they're trying to run the football more as well. But yeah,
yeah,
like
definitely.
Seahawks, yeah, they start off slow and then they'll win like 10 games in a row, and then everyone will be talking Super Bowl champs, blah blah blah. This is a team from 2 years ago or 3 years
Yeah,
ago, whenever it was. We'll see.
sure. All right, I'm gonna move on to my next game, which was one of the divisional matchups from this weekend. It was San Diego Chargers at the Kansas City Chiefs. And man, this was an awesome game. I think it was the biggest ever comeback for the Chiefs. They came from, I think it was 21 or 23-6 down. Um, and 23, they came from 24-3, 21-3 down. And they had one heck of a comeback. Um, Kind of led by Alex Smith. He got 363 passing yards. Had two interceptions, and he converted the extra point at the touchdown at the end to win the game. And he was pretty much the star of this game. And I thought it was a good game for Alex Smith. He's kind of he gets kind of shunned aside that he's more of a game manager, but he kind of showed today that he can win a game through his passing ability. Another guy who was really good for the Chiefs, Spencer Ware. They like the Chiefs just seem to like plug in running backs. Like everyone keep always like worries that Jamal Charles is injured, they're not going to be fine. They didn't have Jamal Charles for like half of last season and won 10 games in a row and then won a playoff game. And now they just plugged in Spencer Ware, who had 70 rushing yards and looked pretty good for the Chargers. All I can say is I feel sorry for them. This was exactly like last season. They lost a close game. They had an injury. Keenan Allen's out for the season now. Just like they can't catch a break in like any form. Like Philip Rivers is doing everything he can to win this game, um, and it's just nothing. Like maybe they're just destined to like not win at the moment. But I was kind of hoping more from Travis Benjamin, who came in over the offseason from the Browns, but he had 7 receptions for 32 yards, so I was kind of disappointed by that. Um, and the Chiefs are definitely like it was if they had lost this game, I think everyone would have kind of like forgotten about the Chiefs, but now they came back and won this game, and I think this kind of it allows them to move forward a lot more, and it's brought them together so much as a team. So really impressed by them.
Yeah, it was the biggest comeback in Chiefs history over San Diego. So it was like well, it was 17 points they were down by, and then well, they needed that 17 points in the fourth quarter, and they got it. I mean, Melvin Gordon, obviously, I think this is like the really good highlight for the Chargers. He finally got some touchdowns. He got two. He got his first one. We didn't say in the Arizona game. Larry Fitzgerald got to 100 touchdowns in his career.
He did.
So props to him. But yeah, Melvin Gordon for this bit. Him and Danny Woodhead splitting the carries as expected, really for the Chargers. I think the Chargers' attack is very. I think their like game plan is. I always thought it was just like pass, but in this game, I mean, 16 receptions by Woodhead, 16 carries by Woodhead, and 14 by Gordon. So obviously they're making up a fair. They've got 30 rushing attempts there.
Yeah, Melvin Gordon
Rivers
didn't score.
He only chucked like 25 passes. So
Melvin Gordon didn't score a single rushing touchdown last season, and then scored 2 in his first game back,
I know.
which is pretty impressive for him. But they were both like from 3 yards out.
Was it? Yeah, Keenan Allen going out with an injury though. That could be quite bad for the Chargers. I think that was the main issue for them. Like I think he just came back as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he's just come back from injury.
So
now he's out
great.
for the rest of the season. That's a real gut wrencher for the Chargers because they don't seem to catch like any kind of break in any form, and then they're top. They lost Stevie Johnson in the offseason as well.
Joey Bosa wasn't even playing. No, I don't think so.
No, he wasn't playing, but I think they've activated him for next week.
Oh, next one. Okay, cool.
Might be seeing him next week, which I am really excited about.
Yeah. Other than that, yeah, I think this is for this game. I think we pretty much covered it really.
Yeah.
Alex Smith obviously making those rushing yards. That he's just so elusive. I love it. I love every time watching him do it, and I just laugh because it looks like a terror. It looks like he doesn't rush at all, but I know he does. It's so funny watching him do it.
He's definitely like in the conversation as like one of the best rushing quarterbacks in the league. Like he always goes under the radar because the ones who are good are amazing, like Cam and Russell Wilson. But I think he's definitely like a top 5 rushing quarterbacks at least.
I always think because I was watching the highlights of the Rams 49ers game, and one of the commentators was like Blaine Gabbert is the top 5 rushing QB in in the National Football League, and I was like, okay, that's obviously bullshit. So let me go through it, and I was like, Cam, obviously, and I was like Russell Wilson,
yeah,
RG3 if he's about, I don't even know, and then I found myself going, I thought there was like loads more. I mean, but like you probably have to chuck Alex Smith in there, wouldn't you?
Definitely, 100%.
Marcus Mariota, I'll put him in there, and then probably Alex Smith, and then. I'm trying to think anyone else who be. I think Tyrod Taylor, I guess you could say, is pretty good rushing. But yeah, Alex Smith is definitely there.
Yeah,
I don't think there's anyone else who I'd put. I don't think there's anyone else who I'd put in as a better rusher than Alex Smith. I'd probably put him above Tyrod Taylor because I should expect Tyrod Taylor to do it.
Yeah, I'd put him above Tyrod Taylor. I'd put him above RG3. I'd put him above Mariota. Because those guys have all just shown flashes of brilliant, but like Alex Smith just solidly does it throughout games.
I know, it's great.
But good for him.
Right, should we move on to another game or?
Yeah.
So, which one? I want to talk about this NFC East game. The NFC East with the New York Giants going to the Cowboys. Dak Prescott, pretty damn good. Very easy to hand the ball off to Ezekiel Elliott. And Alfred Morris there, and then obviously Dan Prescott can run a little bit. He didn't get any throwing touchdowns, but you could just give it away to to Ezekiel Elliott, and Zeke would do it for you really. But the Giants, this is what I want to talk about most. The Giants passing attack. Wow, that is crazy. So many options, so many, like Odell Beckham Jr. obviously, Sterling Shepard, their new pick, Victor Cruz. They got some pretty good options there. And then Eli Manning on this game, so he threw for 207 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. Dak Prescott actually got 20 yards more than him with 227, but he didn't get anything. At least he didn't throw the ball away though. Obviously he was hitting Jason Witten a lot. And Colt Beasley. I keep forgetting Colt Beasley's on that roster. Just make it. Just always should be always there. But I think for the Giants, I think their running game was a bit of a question beforehand. Jennings got 18 attempts and 75 yards. So I think he did way better than Ezekiel Elliott, who got 20 receptions and 50 yards, but didn't get that touchdown, which is that elusive thing. I think the Giants they move the ball down really quickly, and I do really fancy them for the NFC East this year, and I'm happy that they came through with it because I really needed a win with one of them.
Yeah, I think I was impressed by Giants. I was kind of expecting this game to be a lot more high scoring, but I was proven wrong. Their defense wasn't. I kind of tore apart their defense, saying it was full of overpaid idiots, or other words. But no, their defense looked quite good. Like JPP looked quite good. Like he's got some new glove on his hand that looks pretty cool. He's using that pretty well. I like the rookie Eli Apple as well.
He
quarterback. But in terms of the Cowboys, like they didn't play that badly. I thought one thing they did really well is they moved the ball better than they did at all last season. Like they looked quite similar to the 2014 Cowboys where they had DeMarco Murray and they were just moving the ball up and down the field and just getting plays after plays. And they had loads of 15-play drives, 12-play drives that were getting down the field, but then they couldn't finish off the drive. That was the problem. They would get to the red zone. And Dak Prescott wouldn't be able to work out how to get in. Zeke Elliott couldn't work it out. And I think that's where experience comes in. The red zone offense is so difficult. But there's definitely they just need to sort that out and finish off those drives. Because in the first half, I think they had 20 minutes of possession compared to 5 or 10 that the Giants had. So they had loads of the ball and they kept the ball for ages. They just couldn't get any points in the ball. So they should have had the game wrapped up by half time. And they allowed the Giants to come back in. The Giants won, and you're right. I think that this out of all the pretty average NFC East teams, the Giants look the best. And I was wrong about the Giants. They actually look good.
Yeah, I quite liked how they shipped it around. Obviously Eli's doing quite well there. But yeah, I like seeing Victor Cruz back as well. Getting a touchdown as well. It's good to see him back. And then I haven't seen that salsa in ages. So I think his last game was October of 2014 or something. It's it was 700 days he's missed, which is crazy.
Yeah, he's been away for ages. I thought it was really good for him that Victor Cruz finally got a touchdown as well. Let's hope that he doesn't follow the trend of other injury-prone players this season, which is get injured pretty quickly. I wonder what odds you could get on that for Victor Cruz to get injured by week 5.
No, we're not doing this again because we did that we checked the odds of stuff 2 weeks. I was on last week or the week before, and I was just drawn into that. I was like, whoa, look at all this stuff I can bet on for all the random things. It was you could bet on the first penalty being called, which team, and then I was so stupid.
Remember, if you're listening to this and you're in America, please don't bet. It's illegal. Go to Vegas or somewhere like that and do it there.
Yeah, but if you're in the UK, just go nuts, mate.
Bet as much as you want, man. Just don't get addicted to it and lose your money. But bet responsibly.
Yeah, exactly.
It's my turn to do a game, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is. All right. I'm gonna go for the Detroit Lions at the Indianapolis Colts. My boy Matt Stafford got 340 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and he only got sacked once, and he won the game. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he won the game. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, he won the game by himself. He didn't have Megatron. But no, he pretty much took advantage of a Colts defense that looks absolutely terrible. They couldn't get anything done. To be fair, so good the Lions defense is pretty bad. The Lions defense
Yeah.
has no like recognized playmakers apart from Ziggy Ansah. Um, but no, I thought Matt Stafford, he that kind of new look Lions offense that we got a first glimpse of, looks really good. I thought Marvin Jones and Theo Riddick were the standout players for me. Theo Riddick is a really good utility back. He had 45 rushing yards and 63 receiving yards. Marvin Jones had 85 receiving yards. Um, and they're definitely two guys who they could build the offense around. I thought Admir Abdullah looks better than he did last season in his second year, but he's still got a lot of work to do if he wants to be kind of um, like a top running back. And for the Colts, all I can say is I feel sorry for Andrew Luck. Is that he's in a pretty terrible situation now. They couldn't get a running game going. Frank Gore only got 59 yards. He's got a good offense around him, but he doesn't have an offensive line protecting him. He got sacked twice against a defense that isn't that good. And I mean, the Colts defense, I mean, we don't need words for it. Without Vontae Davis, it's pretty bland, and all it does is concede points, which isn't really what you want a defense to do. I mean, there's people already talking about like whether Andrew Luck is going to be like Dan Marino and be the greatest quarterback not to win a Super Bowl. I think that's like slightly early days, but I think he definitely proved that last season was a fluke and he's back to his top level playing. But yeah, the issue now is with the Colts, not with Andrew Luck.
Yeah, I think it's just like their defense is a little bit. Their offense is fine, obviously. I mean, like the Lions' defense isn't that great. I mean, they got Darius Slay and Glover Quinn back in that secondary, but I mean, yeah, like Andrew Luck still threw for 385 yards, damn, and 4 touchdowns. Just like that's better than Matt Stafford, so
Yeah,
that
but
good.
he has T.Y. Hilton and Dante Moncrief and Dwayne Allen and Philip Dorsett.
I mean, well, you just I don't see the issue here. The Lions have got some great receivers.
Yeah, they have good receivers,
Yeah,
but they're not. They haven't got like a top five, like T.Y. Hilton's one of the top receivers in the league.
would you say top receiver in the league?
Yeah, I'd say
That's just a com.
he's a top 10 receiver. T.Y. Hilton.
Top 10. Oh, okay. Maybe Ty. I
Also,
can
there
see it,
was a
but
awesome return of Anquan Bolden, like pulling on the shirt again, playing for the Lions. He looked pretty good. I quite enjoyed watching him.
I thought the Lions' rushing attack was a bit
They have
damaged.
a good they have a good one they've developed a good 1-2 punch with Riddick and Abdullah.
Yeah. To be
Um,
fair, I mean it's what they really need, and it's to take the pressure off Stafford. I think. Guy, the Colts let me down this one. I was pretty sure they were away. They were away for the They were away. They were away to get the win here. I mean, but Colts, like I really didn't want this. This is the one game I didn't want to go away because I was like, talk stuff I was chatting about Matt Stafford, but it's not a very good defense. Let's just say that. I mean, like the guys they had out in that secondary, I didn't recognize any of them.
yeah,
The
I'm just looking
Colts,
for a list
so
of their defensive players
yeah,
and
and the same. I'm just like,
who are these guys?
obviously there's Robert Mathis, but all the defensive, but like when someone like on the list in like NFL when they've got DB, that's like they're clearly like the fifth choice.
Yeah,
I mean,
they haven't fully like established themselves in a secondary yet, so they're just still a defensive back.
yeah. So I mean, I think that's why I mean Matt Stafford was able to light them up, but
Do you
other
still
than that,
think
I think.
the Colts? Do you think they can still make the playoffs?
Yeah, well, I think that they're probably they should win that division. I really think they should. They will do. They have the best quarterback, so they should win that division. Even though that doesn't always come true, but it's relatively. If you have the best quarterback in the division, you usually win the division. You usually win it. Are there any other games you want to talk about here? I think we should move on to the to
Yeah,
our
should we move on to
predictions
picks?
for next week. Yes, I can't wait for
We're sorry if
predictions.
you're a fan of a team whose game was unexciting. Make your games more exciting, and then we'll talk about them.
I mean, like, yeah, like the Buccaneers and Falcons game was exciting just to watch the Falcons lose, but I enjoyed that. But um, Wasn't that great? Right, can we move on? Regular season, week 2, boom, Thursday night game. We have this week is the New York Jets at the Buffalo Bills. So Rex Ryan hosting his old team. What do you think? This is who is the Bills lost to the Ravens, and so did the Jets. So 0-1 teams, even though it doesn't really mean much right now. But
One doesn't mean much, but I thought the Bills generally they looked a lot worse. They've had so many injuries on defense, and they were kind of relying on that the triplets of Sammy Watkins, LaShawn McCoy, and Tyrod Taylor, kind of exploding this season. But it didn't really. The only thing I'd say that would maybe make me lean towards the Bills would be that Rex Ryan, he did the double over the Jets last season, and he kind of specializes in going against teams that he has a grudge against. So maybe, but I'm going to stick with the Jets on this one. I think they have the better roster. I think they'll be hungry to like get the season up and running, and as you know, I think the Bills are going to capitulate anyway this season. So
yeah, well, I've got the Jets in this game. I can't really say much else really. It's I think they should have got that victory over the weekend over the Bengals, but I mean they showed promise, and I don't think the Bills they weren't as great, and plus with Sammy Watkins being injured, it's not the best times for them. So I've got the Jets in this one. Right, moving on. There's some great afternoon games. Starts with the 49ers at the Panthers. I've got to go with my boys. Even though the 49ers, they played really well. They're running. Carlos Hyde did a really good game. But yeah, I've got the Panthers in this one.
yeah, I'm going for the Panthers as well. As good as the 49ers were against the Rams, it was the LA Rams. So, and also they absolutely smashed it in their opening game last season, and then look what happened after that. So, yeah, don't get too excited, 49ers fans.
I mean, like, to be fair, like, for them to do well, for them to, like, progress, it would be at the start of the season. So when, obviously, with Chip Kelly's offense, no one, if they don't figure it out, they probably won't figure it out at the start of the season, more likely to figure it out towards the end of the season. So this could be a time, but I've got the Panthers. I can't really see. Right, Cowboys at Redskins. Interesting game here. Another NFC East matchup for the Cowboys, back-to-back divisional games. And I've got them taking another loss here to the Redskins.
Yeah. I'm gonna agree with you on that one. I think that one of the key matchup in this game is going to be Des Bryant going up against Josh Norman, and Josh Norman Des Bryant is another one of those players that Josh Norman kind of got into his head really well, and he shut him down pretty well last season. I think Josh Norman could do that again, and I just think the Cowboys that again they move the ball pretty well, but I think they're going to struggle again by finishing off drives, and I think that's going to catch them out again, and the Redskins are going to win.
Yeah, I think the Redskins are home, so I think that's right. Oh, this is a big game, AFC North, potential title decider there. With the Bengals traveling to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. I've got the Steelers. I have them winning the division, and if they're going to win the division, I think they need to beat out the Bengals. So I've got them.
All right. Well, we didn't actually talk much about Bengals Jets game, but one of the things that Andy Dalton started off really slowly on that game, and I was kind of thinking, he's going back to the old Andy Dalton that's kind of average, but then he exploded after the first quarter and got over 300 passing yards, I think, and played really well. And AJ Green looked really well. He embarrassed Darrelle Revis, and I think the Bengals are going to take that into this next game and win. I thought the Steelers, they look good in Monday Night Football, but that Bengals defense looked pretty good as well. I mean, they have a way of just plugging guys into that secondary that look really good. Even without Vontaze Burfict, they were pretty good. So I think they'll have enough to beat it. And they want revenge over that game in the playoffs. So beating the Steelers in Pittsburgh would be perfect for them.
Yeah, okay, right. So I think Saints at Giants. I've got the Giants. I think they distribute the ball really well. Their defense hopefully will come up and play against the Saints. Although I expect this to be another really high-scoring game, especially because the Saints are involved.
Yeah, I'm going to go same high-scoring game, but I'm going to take the Saints because I like to be different.
You like to be different. All
it's
right,
picks like this that get you to 11-5.
Oh, all right, mate. Dolphins at Patriots. Dolphins. How about that? What do you think of
that? Patriots.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm going. Did I pick the Dolphins in this game? Yeah, I did pick the Dolphins. There we go.
You go for the Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm going for the Dolphins, mate. Definitely.
fine.
Um, It'll be pretty good. I think like that defensive line. Not really sure what Garoppolo's going to deal with that. Right, Chiefs at Texans. This is actually a really big game. Um, this is it's the wild card matchup from last year when the Chiefs completely destroyed the Texans. But hopefully the Texans think they found their man in Brock Osweiler. Um, yeah, I don't think that's going to be the case even with the Chiefs and their like lackluster their first half performance. I think the Chiefs are going to take this home. Um, I really hope they do because I really need to come up and pick up on that 5-10. But I got the Chiefs. I don't think the Texans defense will be up to stopping them.
This is a pick. I've got the Texans down at the moment. There's a very good chance I'm
Ooh.
going to flip flop later in the week.
Oh, you can't flip flop later in the week. Got to go for it now, mate.
Hey, well, I'm going to pick the Texans now because I thought they look really solid against the Bears, and I think they'll have just enough to beat the Chiefs. And I think playing at home will play into their advantage. But yeah, I could change this pick. I post the picks on the website, so
Yeah, I know that's why
always...
you can change it. Yeah. Right. And then oh no, there's two more afternoon games. There's the Titans at the Lions. Oh god, if it wasn't the Titans as well, I might even. But Matt Stafford. Nah, Titans. Wait, well, who have I got down here? Yeah, Titans. Nice.
You taking the Titans?
Yep. Don't believe in Matt Stafford.
Ballsy.
So.
Ballsy.
Um,
Yeah, I'm taking the Lions.
We're gonna have to see. Hopefully, Matt Stafford doesn't come dim again. Okay, the last morning game is the Ravens at the Browns. I think the Ravens can do well this year. I've got the Ravens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I already typed into the box that you were going to pick the Ravens.
Obviously, I'm well hyped up on the Ravens this year. Right, moving on to the afternoon games.
I'm picking the Ravens as well in that game, by the way.
Oh, right, yeah, so my bad. Seahawks at Rams.
But yeah, that's a kind of testimony to the Browns that you don't even have to ask if you're picking in that game. Just anyone who's playing the Browns will win.
Yeah, just slight issue for the Browns there. Sorry, guys. And RG3's not even starting. Well, he might not be. So, right, move the Seahawks at the Rams. This is just the most typical game that the Rams would win, isn't it?
Yeah.
It'd be the most Rams thing to do, just to get shut out by the 49ers and then just beat the Seahawks.
Yeah, I picked the Rams down because the Seahawks they're doing the same thing where they're starting so slowly, and that offensive line, it looks like such a worry for me. And even if they add in Ricky Germain-Ifedi, it still looks kind of average. And that Rams, like that defensive line, the Rams is the Rams. That's all they have is that amazing defensive line. So I pretty much think they're going to get smashed. I don't think they'll smash, but yeah.
Right,
I'm going for the Rams as well.
I'm going for the Seahawks in this one, but it will be the most Rams thing ever to do. But yeah, I'm gonna go for the Seahawks. Hopefully they come up and win that if they sort out their offense. Right, Buccaneers at Cardinals. I'm expecting the Cardinals to bounce back here with a victory over the Bucs.
Yeah, I'm doing the same as well.
Yeah, good. That's a good one.
But if the Cardinals lose this one, then I think they have to start panicking.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Carson Palmer will do what Aaron Rodgers did like 2 seasons ago, and then be like, everyone relax, and then just go and boss it. Maybe. All right. Jags at Chargers. This is a really interesting one because obviously the Chargers played really well, where their offense did. And then the Jags performed pretty damn well as well, especially against the Packers. So I think do I have the Chargers in this one? I think I got the Chargers. Yeah.
Are you sticking with it? Are you sticking with the Chargers?
I'm gonna stick with the Chargers. Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna stick with the Jags.
Stick with the Jags. Oh, okay. I don't know. That's an interesting game. Hopefully that'll be high scoring as well. Right, Falcons at Raiders. I got the Raiders in this one. They should be.
Yeah. I'm gonna agree with that. I think the Raiders, they'll be playing in Oakland, so be a much them. But one thing that could maybe split them up for them is that average-looking defense, and they've got to go up against Julio Jones.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I hope maybe Reg Nelson will just get tacked on him, even though just always watching him as the safety there. But right, Colts at Broncos. This game, I don't know what to think because the Colts defense is terrible. The Broncos defense is amazing.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
This is I originally when we did the whole picking the regular season, I took the Colts in this game, but after seeing the Broncos, against the Panthers. I was really impressed by them, and I think they'll go to win this game. And it's being played in Colorado as well, in
Mm,
Denver.
another one in
So
Denver, yeah.
so you've obviously got the whole like 1 mile above sea level crap. And I mean the Colts they just look so terrible in so many places apart from when Andrew Luck throws the ball, and I think they're really going to struggle in this game.
Yeah, yeah. I'll take the Broncos as well. My pain, yeah, I'll probably go for the Broncos in this one. I don't think that the Colts' defense will be able to. I mean, the Colts' offense is that prolific, and the Broncos' defense is clearly amazing.
Yeah.
Right, probably the game of the week, Packers Vikings. Well, it could have been a game. Do you think Sam Bradford will play this week?
I think there's a chance. I think the way that Sean Hill played against the Titans, he didn't do much wrong.
Hmm.
Um,
Do you think it'll make a difference if he plays this week?
I don't think he'll make a difference because I don't
Hmm.
think they'll allow him to make a difference because if he tries to make a difference, he might lose the game for them.
Yeah, like try pushes the.
Yeah, but
So
I could see them wanting to get Sam Bradford out for this game.
yeah, I reckon that would push it in the Vikes' favor, Bradford. But can I go with that? Can I go with if Sam Bradford starts, I'm going with the Vikings. If he doesn't, then I'll go with the
Yeah,
Packers.
sure.
Yeah. So yeah, put me down for Vikings right now. That's who I had anyway. So I'm okay with that. Yeah, Vikes.
Sure.
And you're taking the pack, are you? Yeah.
I'm taking the Packers.
All
I
right.
think they'll want revenge for
And
ruining
then
Brett Favre night. No, that was the Bears. Oh, well, that will
yeah.
happen later on in the season. Get
Speaking about the
revenge.
Bears, they're playing on a Monday night game against the Eagles, and obviously Jay Cutler MVP, so Chicago Bears are winning that game.
Yeah, I got the Bears as well.
Yeah, even though Carson Wentz did impress me a lot, but yeah, come on, Bears bounce back victory. How many of those did we pick the same things for?
One, two,
Oh, two.
3, 4, 5.
Just five, really?
There's 5.
Just five. We picked the exact same team.
Yeah.
Wow, we're terrible. Or well, one of us clearly. Well, I think one of us clearly knows nothing. The other one clearly knows a lot. But we'll have to see who that is.
See, maybe I'll change all my picks come Thursday
Oh
anyway.
yeah, trust you will as well. Right, okay, there you go, guys. That is it for this week. If I'm getting on to an hour of this, that's quite a long one. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Let us know what do you guys think is going to happen this week, and if our predictions obviously are right, and tell me how badly I did on my last ones because what 5 and 11 am I? No, I'm
You're
like
6 and 10.
6 and 10. So yeah,
Yeah.
6 and 10 isn't great, but hopefully I'll make it up to 8 and 8 for next week. Maybe a little bit better. A winning week would be good. But anyway, until next week, guys, have a good one, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.